Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Got a little project today that my son Marc is going to help me with because it's mainly for his benefit. He would like a new desk for his computer and his junk in his room. And he was talking about the kind of size desk he wanted, and we were looking online at like IKEA and some of the put together desks, and you know, anything decent is not cheap, let's put it that way. So we started talking about, well, what about making a desk? Because he doesn't even want drawers in this thing. So really all he needs is almost like a table that would be like the perfect size and desk height. We even went and checked some used furniture places, thrift shop type situations to try and find something. Even a coffee table with a nice top, if we could get it cheap enough, we'd just break the legs off of it and put new legs on it. But we didn't find anything. Then I remembered that I had this old wood that I had saved out of an old carriage house that a friend of mine from like over 20 years ago, he and I took down this carriage house. And it was an unusual carriage house because he was using it as a garage, and what was unusual about it was that the floor that you drove into or onto when you drove into the garage was actually wooden, because there was a lower level that you went to the back side of the garage to get into. The point is, the wood we took out of there is like this thick, tongue and groove, and he was throwing all this stuff out, and I said, hold on. I said, you gotta save that wood. The building was over 100 years old based on the records he had found, so everything would indicate to us that it would probably be what's known as old growth lumber. Old growth meaning that it's lumber that was made from trees that grew a long time ago. And the thing about trees from a long time ago, my understanding of the principle is that those trees grew slower, and that when you look at the actual rings on the side of the board that denote how many years old the tree was, you know, every year the tree adds another ring. Well, that those rings are narrower and tighter together, closer grain, because of, and that might not be the right term there. I don't want a bunch of woodworkers jumping down my throat. Maybe grain isn't what I'm looking for. The point is, the wood should be somewhat denser, so even if it's like pine or hemlock, it might actually be more durable and harder. We're not too worried about it anyways, because this wood's a full 2-inch thick, but it has who knows how many years worth of driving on it, dirt, oil, and everything on it. And I've had it stored for over the past 20 years in an unheated old chicken coop area that we used at the farm. So it's not been rained on directly, but I think it's really well preserved because it's so filthy. We grabbed the short section of it out of the chicken coop the other day, and this is what it looks like. Pretty filthy. It's almost black. So I think if Marc's 100% honest, he'll probably tell you that when he first saw it, he didn't think too much of it. But I promised him that I'm going to show him how to take the nails out of this so that it will be safe for us to run it through the planer, and that when we run it through the planer, he's going to get to see what this wood really looks like, and I think he's going to be pleased. But my main concern with this wood right now is that it has these big nails sticking out of it. And anybody who knows anything about planing wood will tell you that planer knives do not like nails. You could see the spacing of the joists was not 16 inches on center, it was much closer, which makes sense because, again, you know, they were driving vehicles in on this. What we're going to do, I'm going to show Marc how to remove these nails and try and minimize the amount of damage we're going to do to this. So Marc, you see the heads of the nails are just slightly below the surface of the wood. So there's nothing to grab onto to pull those nails out. Now, if we were just doing demolition and didn't care about the wood, we could use what's called a cat's paw. A cat's paw is it's like a little crowbar, but it's got sharp little teeth, and it kind of has a shape to it like that on a long part. And what you do is you hold the cat's paw in at an angle like that, and then you bang on where my knuckles are with a hammer, and you can actually drive down and bite into the wood and get underneath the head of the nail. Once you get far enough underneath, then you use the leverage of the handle on it to actually pull the nail out. Well, these are big nails. These are probably 16 or 20 penny nails, okay? And you're going to have to pull against all of this shank of the nail, which would make it difficult. Furthermore, you're going to gouge out a big chunk of the wood. So what we want to do is we want to see if we can grab onto that head without gouging out a big chunk of wood. So we want to move this nail out a little bit. So we could just try and bang on these, but you see how long they are?
Yeah.
There's two problems with that. Problem number one is if you don't bang perfectly straight, like this one how it's bent, if you don't bang perfectly straight, the nail tends to want to bend. And then the more you bend it, the harder it's going to be to get it out. The second problem with that is even if we bang it out a little bit and we get the head to expose part of the shank so we can hook onto it with a crowbar, then when you go to pull it out, you're going to be fighting the friction of all of this length of the nail. What I suggest we do, okay, is we cut this off, but we leave enough of the nail remaining so we have something to bang with the hammer to knock that head up just far enough to expose the shank of the nail, put the crowbar on there, and voila, Bob's your uncle. Bob isn't your uncle. No, you got several uncles, none of them are Bob's. All right, so what we're going to do is you're going to use the cutoff wheel in my fancy schmancy cordless grinder. All right, and we're going to cut off one of these. So we'll do a little test run. We'll try one out. We'll see how it goes. And then, you know, be careful. Obviously, this is a hazard.
Fire hazard.
Yeah, fire hazard. Shoot. Put the eye protection on.
Which one is it safer?
You're going to do the most of it. I'm just going to show you how to do one. All right, so we got hearing protection and eye protection on. Okay. So what I want to do.
Where do I stand?
Huh?
Where do I stand?
Well, we'll see where the sparks fly and stand not where the sparks are. Okay. So I'm going to cut this kind of close to the bottom. We're going to leave a little bit sticking up. Okay.
Yep.
See how easy that is?
Yeah.
Cuts like butter. Okay. These will get hot. We got 2, 4, 6, 8. Right. Here's 1. There's 7 more. When you finish this job, I expect you to be able to hand me 7 of these.
Okay.
Because if you don't, it means there's one still on the ground here, and it's going to surely end up in one of our tires. And if it's your mother's tire, God help you. These were nailed in at an angle because this is tongue and groove. That means that there's a rib that sticks up on this side and there's a groove on this side.
Yeah.
So each rib on this side would lock into the next board that has a groove.
Yeah.
So that's why when they nailed it at an angle so that as they were nailing it in, it would push that even tighter. I don't want to get on that side and hammer because it's natural from this side as I swing. It's much more natural for me to have the correct angle to drive this out.
Yeah.
Just like that, right? Once we have that out like that, grab that crowbar. Now remember, now that I flipped it over, the angle's this way.
You don't have to get other things like this.
No, because now you're trying to pull. Now you're trying to make it go back. It wants to come out in that direction.
Yeah.
All right. So you want, because this has a pulling action like this.
Ah, yeah.
So if you do like this, you're fighting the direction that the nail is
Yes.
in. So you go this way.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Right.
Yeah, and take some Wheaties. There you go. Now let me show you how I would do it. First, you should have proper shoes on.
Okay.
I don't know how ridiculous, how many times I've told you you look ridiculous wearing socks and sandals. I know it's a damn thing all you hippies do now. Okay, watch. Brace my foot here, okay? And I can really push down on this. You got it most of the way out, so that's why that one was easy, okay? So there's one. So go get proper footwear on.
Yep.
Then come back, and then here's what you do. Instead of doing just one like we just did, now that we know it's going to work,
Cut every single
as
one.
long as you get the grinder in your hand, cut all of those in one shot. then go back, hammer them all in one shot, then go back, pull them all in one shot.
Stay here.
That's a quicker way of doing it.
Stay here.
Okay.
How do I use this?
Oh, that would help, huh? I'm sorry, I thought I showed you how to use this. I showed Aiden how to show you. Usually what I do is I start the grinder and then move it up to the metal. You're putting the wheel up against the metal,
Yeah.
and then starting it, and the torque is making it zip out of your hand.
Okay.
All right, so here's one. There you go. Yeah, now you're talking. Now, you know what? Find yourself a little block of wood or something you can put underneath there. That way the nail head has someplace to go. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There you go, now you're cooking. Freeze.
What?
Think about what's going to happen when you go to hit that.
I don't know.
Now think about a lever and a fulcrum. Do you remember that?
No.
A fulcrum, lever.
I know what lever is.
Okay. Think about a seesaw. Do you know what a seesaw is?
Yeah.
What's going to happen when you put force on that nail by hitting it? It's going to make that side pop up, right?
Yeah.
So that's why you get up. And what side did I say you're going to stand on so that you can get the angle right? Look at those, even those,
This side.
they're angled this way.
Yeah, so you hit it this way.
Well, you want to stand on this side and hit it this way.
Okay.
So you're going to put a foot on that board to keep it from popping up on you, and then you're going to do that. There you go. Good. You can leave that right there. That's perfect. Those might even break out the end when you go to pop them out because they're so. You'd get a lot less flex in the board if you put your block close to the edge. It'll be a lot more stable. There you go. That's better. Now you're getting a lot of flex because you got your foot right on the pivot point, the fulcrum. Put your foot over here. Now hit it.
I'm missing this one.
It's all right. You're not used to hammering. Takes a while to get used to it. If you did it all the time, you'd be doing it with one hand, no problem.
Okay, so now flip.
Even the pros miss every once in a while and bend a nail. You just don't tell anybody. Crushing the edge of the board there, doing that. Because there's nothing for you to rest this on. So for the ones on the edge here, maybe you're better off doing like you did with the end one and just doing this. We're gonna cut that tongue off anyways with the table saw. All right, Mark. So this should be all set to go. What we'll probably end up doing is we'll probably just run a metal detector over this real quick. Make sure there are no nails in there before we plane it. Sometimes you have a nail hidden that you didn't see. So the planer, in order to not make a big mess down in the basement, we're going to bring the planer up outside. The planer's heavy, so we're probably going to do that later. I'm worried about...
Rain.
Yeah, exactly.
Is it supposed to rain today?
Yeah, I was supposed to get thunder showers, so
Okay,
we'll have
so
to check the weather and everything. We don't want to haul that thing out here and then find out that, you know...
Plus the,
It's not very big, but it's heavy.
yeah, plus the thing that we're gonna cut the groove off.
Well, yeah, we could do that. We don't have to do that. We can plane it first, make sure the wood is to your liking, and then if you like it, then we got plenty more of what you just did here for you to do, so we have enough to put together a desktop, right?
Yeah.
Okay.